my first time streaming on YouTube, so this will be fun. Um, so this is an idea that I had not too long ago, where I just, you know, stream and talk about what I've been watching, what I've been uh, reading, what I've been intaking media-wise, and I just talk about it. And hopefully, I can keep this going semi consistent, and and hopefully in the future I will have people coming in, hopping in, and joining in on me. That sounds weird. Hopefully, I will have people coming, hopping on, and joining the discussion with either through the live chat, or I have a Discord set up for specific people who can hop in whenever they want and join in on my discussions. Um, so today, the things that I wanted to talk about were what I've been watching recently. Criminal Minds has been the main thing that I've been watching. I've been trying to get through that because I have a really hard time like, jumping from show to show. Um, Once I start a show, I feel like I have to finish it before I uh, I have to you know finish a show before I can move on to another movie or another show or whatever. So I haven't been exploring a lot of other shows. There are so many shows and so many movies that have come out that I really want to watch, but I haven't gotten a chance to because I'm stuck in Criminal Minds, which Criminal Minds is great, but I feel like I'm getting behind on all the other shit, all the other stuff that I want to watch. So anyway, I am on season 13, episode 6 or 7, I think, of Criminal Minds. Also, there's a new like spin-off of Criminal Minds Evolution. I guess it's a sequel, kind of. And that's cool. So I'm gonna have that to watch when I finish the regular one. No spoilers, please, because again, season 13 of Criminal Minds. So anyway, the main thing that I want to talk about was season 12. Also, just to put this out there, spoilers. So if you have any intentions of watching Criminal Minds and you aren't where I'm at, spoilers, by the way, because that's what this is about. This is about discussing things. So yeah, my biggest thing right now is there was a section in the like big plot thing in season 12 was Reed was in jail, and I really enjoyed that. I thought it was a really interesting plot line and everything. I liked it a lot, but the thing about it was that it was more interesting than whatever everything else that was going on, and I kind of wish that when they would like go back to the rest of the team, that they would have focused on them just trying to find Mr. Scratch, or trying to, and it would have just taken, instead of having a new case every episode like they typically do, like have that one case of trying to figure out how to save Reed or whatever, and just working on that instead of, because whenever they were working on a case, it was like flipping back and forth between that and Reed being in jail. I didn't care. I just wanted to watch Reed stuff. I didn't feel invested as much as in the cases as I normally do, because the stuff with Reed was much more interesting, and I wanted to know what happened. Except there was one episode. There was one episode where I cared more about what was happening than I did about what was happening with Reed, and I just kind of wish they had focused on that case more instead of flip flopping between the flip flopping between the unsub and what he was doing, the team trying to catch him, and Reed being in jail. Like there was just too much going on, and the stuff about the unsub and everything was so good. It was so interesting, and I wanted to just spend more time with that. But because it was trying to do all these three different things at once, it didn't get as much time as I wished that it had. And that was the episode Hell's Kitchen, where there was this guy who had like a sensitivity to light or whatever, and he kidnaps these girls, takes them into like the sewers, and then just holds them for a few weeks, and then like drains them of their blood, drinks it because he thinks that's going to help him. That's going to give him what is it? Like cure him of his like weakness to light or whatever, and it was so interesting. And the actor who played that guy was so good, and the writing for that guy was so good. I loved that episode. It was a fantastic episode. When I looked at it on IMDb, that one had a low rating. Like, well, not a low rating. It was average ratings for an average episode of Criminal Minds, and that made me really sad because I thought that was a fantastic episode. But like I said, I do wish that they had kind of stayed more on with that unsub instead of flip-flopping back and forth, because that would have been great, you know. Yeah. And then, man, I had a lot of stuff to say about Criminal Minds, but I'm blanking on it all now. Walker, Stephen Walker. I thought he was a fantastic character. The guy who played him was great. He did a really good job of portraying him. He didn't have a lot to do, and he did kind of seem like like we didn't really know what his deal was. He was just there to help the team catch Mr. Scratch, right? Oh, that's cool and all. But he dies. Spoiler, by the way. He dies, which, normally I wouldn't be that upset about, because it gives you, like, oh yeah, this team isn't invincible. Oh yeah, the rest of the team is in danger now, blah, blah, blah. But it happened at, like, in between the seasons. Like, it lands on a cliffhanger with them getting hit by a truck. And then it opens up and he's dead. And it's clear, like, maybe if you're not, like, super into, like, films and TV and everything and, like, the behind the scenes and stuff, and you just watch TV to enjoy it, like, maybe you wouldn't have noticed it as much. But to me, it was very clear that something was going on in the background. That something happened to the actor behind the scenes that made them like just write him out, because he didn't get like any meaningful speech or any any sort of like farewell. He's just dead. He's just gone. So unfortunately, it felt a little lackluster when he died, instead of having that weight that it should have had, and that's unfortunate. And I know that, like, there's not really much he could have done about that, because production stuff happens like that all the time. So yeah, It's really unfortunate. I would have liked some sort of like farewell thing for him, but it's fine. Um, but yeah. Um, anyway, I have, see, this is why I want your all's help to help me, because that way because right now it's just me talking to a screen. There's no like discussion happening. There was like 3 people watching for like 2 seconds, and then not so much anymore. So yeah. I am trying to see if there's a way for me to see who's watching, but I'm new to this whole um, uh, streaming thing, and this is the first time I've done it on YouTube, so I really don't know what I'm doing at all. Uh, oh yeah. uh, I hope this is somewhat entertaining to whoever's watching this later on. I think it would be much better if I had someone to actually discuss things with instead of just talking to myself. But it's fine. Hopefully in the future someone will actually join me. Anyway, um also something I really liked about the first episode of season 13 when they actually like catch Mr. Scratch is him and Luke Alves are in the shootout and whatever, and then he Mr. Scratch gets onto this fire escape and whatever, and then they're fighting, and then the fire escape falls out from under Mr. Scratch, and he catches onto the lead there, and Luke goes over to him, and you're thinking that he's gonna like help him up because he's FBI and he needs to help. Like he's not supposed to kill unless threatened or whatever. Um, and so he just stares at him and watches him, and Scratch is like begging for help or whatever, but he doesn't help him, and so he just falls to his death. And I really liked that because it was like a morally gray decision. I thought it was, especially if that comes to bite him later. I was like, ooh, yeah, give me the morally gray decisions instead of the all of the main characters are heroes and good and they'll never do anything bad. Um, however, few episodes later, um, Emily Prentice is like, "Hey, I need your report on what happened," and he was like, "Sorry, I was a little lax on the details, wasn't I?" And she was like, "Yeah, just tell me what happened." And then he tells her exactly what happened, and she was like, "You were following protocol. You did a good job." And I was like, "Come on, man, what?" And then he wrote it up, and then it was fine. See, I would that when she called him into her office to have him to discuss what happened with Scratch, I was like, yeah, it's finally happening. The bad decision that he made is coming to bite him in the butt, and then it didn't. And she was like, yeah, it's fine. You did your job. And, man. So yeah, that was something else that like kind of got on my nerves a little bit. But, overall, I really like Criminal Minds. I hope you guys don't think that I don't like it, because I am thoroughly enjoying it. These are just like little issues that I have every now and then, and none of them are like big enough to like make me hate it or anything. Cause like I'm still watching it. I'm gonna try and finish it, and then once I finish it, I'm gonna start the new season that's out. So yeah. Um, Daniel Henney just joined, and he seems pretty cool. He hasn't really done much so far. Tara Lewis, she's an interesting character, but again, she just doesn't have. She's not. They don't do anything with her. She just kind of is there, you know. It's not like, I don't know. It's hard to explain. She's just there. They don't really do anything with her, and that makes me sad because like the reason they got rid of Stephen Walker was because they wanted to make room for somebody else, and there wasn't really anywhere to go with his character. And I would disagree. I felt like there was places that we could go with his character. I'm sure the writers could have come up with something, but then they don't do anything with Tara, and she was in the season before Stephen Walker was introduced. So you would think that you would feel more attached to her than you do Stephen Walker, and maybe some people. But to me, I felt with the short amount of time that Stephen Walker was a part of the group, I felt like he was a much more interesting character and more developed than Tara was, and I would have preferred they kill off Tara in an insignificant way instead of Walker. And I'm not saying that I don't like Tara. I think Tara's great. It's just they don't do anything with her. And if they're not going to do anything with her, why keep her around, you know? But that's just my 2 cents. I think that's everything that I had to say about Criminal Minds that was on my mind. But yeah, so I took a break to finish She-Hulk because I wanted to get that over with and out of the way because I knew it was going to be important. And Daredevil's in it, and Tim Roth is in it, and those 3 things were the only reasons that I wanted to watch it. And it was a chore. That show is probably the worst Marvel show so far. And I feel kind of bad because I was like, when people kept saying that, I like kept trying to defend it because I watched the first episode and first 2 episodes, and like they weren't bad. They genuinely got some laughs out of me, and so like I thought they were pretty good episodes for the most part. So I was like defending it, I was like, it's not that as bad as people say. I think like some of the jokes are clever, blah blah blah. And then I watched the episode 3, and it was bad. It was not good. And the jokes were flat and bland, and they didn't do anything for me. And then she twerked at the end of the episode, and I was like, okay, cool. It's lovely. With Megan Thee Stallion. And I haven't listened to any of her music, so I can't say anything, but she looks, in my opinion, just based off of I haven't like looked up into her or anything, so I don't know for sure. I can't put a definite opinion on her, but based off of what I have seen of her, if I'm to judge a book by its cover, she's just a regular run-of-the-mill pop star, and I don't care. That has nothing to do with She-Hulk at all. However, that's just my input anyway. So yeah, and then episode 4, I don't even remember what happens the majority of the time. And I thought I kept seeing on the internet how they were like introducing mutants and stuff, and I thought that was going to be a bigger thing, but I didn't really notice it. And the only reason I did notice it was because people pointed it out on the internet, and I'd seen it before I watched the show. Like, that was the only stuff that I connected to it. So yeah. It didn't feel as important as I thought as I would be. So I probably could have skipped it. But again, it was nice to see Tim Roth again as the Abomination. It was real good to see. I was glad that he came back for that role. Hi, Metal Gladiator. Thanks for stopping by at least. If I'm still here when you get off of work, you should join the discussion so I'm not just sitting here talking to myself. I don't know if you can hear me because you're at work. But anyway, continuing on. Where was I? Tim Roth, yes. Okay, yeah, it was good to see him come back. I'm glad he got to come back for his role. He is a fantastic actor, and he definitely takes that role seriously. Even though it was forever ago when he played that role, I was honestly surprised when he was okay with coming back. Well, if you get off at 9, I probably won't still be here. I can't imagine sitting here talking to myself for 4 hours. But we'll see, I guess. Why do you work so late? Don't you usually work morning? Anyway. Yeah. And then Daredevil showed up, and like it was a good introduction to Daredevil because we saw him for like a minute, 2 minutes as Matt Murdock in Spider-Man: No Way Home. But here he actually does some like lawyering stuff, and then does some Daredevil stuff as Daredevil. So, like, we actually get to see Daredevil in the MCU for the first time. And it's really cool. That's probably the only episode worth watching. And then once Daredevil's gone, cut it off. Because then, like, there's, like, 5 minutes of other stuff that happens. But also, Jen Walters in the comics was one of the first comic book characters to break the fourth wall and talk to the audience and everything. So they do that in the show, but not very well, because they're doing like self-deprecating jokes, so that way the internet can't make those jokes before them. They're like trying to get to that joke first, and I don't like it. They're not funny. And it just feels like they're trying to, like I said, just trying to make fun of themselves first before the internet can. Not to be funny, just to like, so that way they can say, yeah, but it was meant to be that way. So you can't criticize it. It was supposed to be that way. But see, we made a joke about it. So you can't say that it was bad. But I can criticize it. I think you should do better on your jokes. In my personal opinion, but yeah, and like I don't know, it breaking the fourth wall, especially in like a joking manner, is so difficult. It is extremely difficult to do, and you have to do it well. Because if you don't do it well, it's gonna be bad. Case in point, She-Hulk. And then a good way to do it is Emperor's New Groove. Obviously. That is the best movie that has ever fourth wall broke. No, but seriously, that movie does actually do breaking the fourth wall really well. But yeah, Deadpool obviously is another good example of the fourth wall break. And yeah, it's just, you can't. Maybe, hopefully, they will learn how to do fourth wall breaks better when season 2 comes around. Will I watch season 2? Probably not, unless, again, something really big and important happens for later on in the MCU that I need to know. I will probably watch it for that. But if I could find out that I don't need to watch it and I can just skip it, and probably just still skip it. Or if like people are like, hey, season 2 is actually really good, they learned from all their mistakes last time, then I'll watch it. But I don't have high hopes for that. So yeah. Oh, by the way, you probably, if you haven't watched She-Hulk yet and you don't really know if you should or shouldn't, and you're not like super excited about it, you don't really feel like doing it, I'm gonna tell you right now, you could skip it. It doesn't seem that important right now, as far as I can tell. It doesn't seem important, so you could probably just skip it. And I would, because it's not very good. The first episode's okay. The finale actually wasn't that bad, because they did take into account, they did like kind of like a Blazing Saddles kind of ending, where you know, all these like plot lines are merging together, and like it's just a mess. It's a mess. And then Jen Walters is like, no, don't do that. So then she breaks out of her show, goes to the writer's room, and then goes and finds Kevin. And then she talks to Kevin about how she doesn't like how the ending is. And he's like, well, Marvel movies are supposed to have big, fantastic CGI poop battles at the end of all of them. And she's like, but that's not what the show has been this entire time. So why would we do that at the very end? It just feels wrong. Also, the ending is super predictable and boring and has been done a million times. Why are we doing this? And he's like, but that's just how we make Marvel movies. And she's like, yeah, but not this one. This is my story. And I really liked that, because like before, whenever they were like doing the like self-deprecating jokes, like it just felt like, haha, you can't criticize me because I'm doing it first. But now, that one felt more like past criticisms of other ones, and they were like actually taking that into account for this and put it into their show. However, I'm confused now, because stuff happened, and then she stopped it because she wanted it to, and I was expecting it to like kind of rewind a little bit and then have a new ending. But no, it just skips over that part, and I don't know what happened between, because there was a big battle and everybody was just, fighting each other, and it was like, what is happening? And then she goes to talk to Kevin, and then she comes back and everything's over. So I was expecting it to rewind and then have like a completely like a more grounded comedic ending. But no, they just, so now that really cool talk about them taking criticism from their previous work and putting it in this one feels more like lazy writing, so that way they don't have to come up with an ending. Really frustrating. So there was a part of the finale that I really liked, and there was a part of the finale that I just didn't care for. So hopefully they learn from their mistakes. They probably won't, but hopefully they do. And yeah. Also, by the way, I am super behind on my Marvel. I haven't watched I Am Groot. I haven't watched the Guardians special, and I have not watched Wakanda Forever. So yeah, I'm a bit behind on that. I really need to get home. Hey, I have 4 people watching. Hey, everybody, how's it going? um, yeah. I can't see who all is watching, which is weird. Maybe I can, I just don't know how to do it, but I can't. Participants, maybe? Nobody. Cool. My day was going pretty good. How was yours, Potato King? 4 to 6. I'm honestly running out of things to say. Like I said, this Criminal Minds has been taking up so much of my time that I haven't had much time to watch anything else. So, yeah, I don't really have much to say outside of those 2 things there. Well, that's good to hear. Glad you had a good day. It's very difficult to do a discussion when you're talking to yourself. Great. Uh, but yeah, like there's also Andor and Tales of the Jedi. I haven't watched because of Criminal Minds. I haven't finished Rings of Power because of Criminal Minds. I did watch House of the Dragon as it was coming out and finished it. It was really good. If you liked Game of Thrones, you will like House of the Dragon. And like Game of Thrones before season 8. I have not watched Andor yet, unfortunately. That one I have for a while. When it was like first announced, I was not very excited about it because it was just a character from Rogue One, and I was like, why does this character need a TV show? I don't really understand. So it just kind of felt like a money grab thing. But then I was talking to somebody the other day, and they were telling me about how it's more focused on him and what's like living in the Star Wars universe on a small scale during the Empire's reign. And that sounded so interesting to me, and I am really excited to get into it. But again, probably not going to get into it until I finish Criminal Minds, which hopefully will be soon, because I'm pretty close to finishing it. Oh, cool! The trailer for the new Mandalorian season's out. I did not know that. I usually stay away from trailers personally because spoilers, and people just don't know how to make good trailers without spoiling everything. So I usually stay away from that. But I am excited for the new Mando season. I'm really curious where that's gonna go because of how the last season ended. It's gonna be interesting. But I am excited for it. I'm excited to see where it goes from here. Obviously, well, yeah, that happens too. Watching a trailer and it getting spoiled for you anyway. And it happens too. Or not watching it. Is that what it's saying? Not watching a trailer and then it getting spoiled for you anyway. Whatever. Yeah, that's what I meant. Sure. Yeah. But I usually try to stay away from trailers anyway. Also, people just don't know how to make trailers anymore. They aren't interesting. They tell you the entire movie and they don't like try to grab your attention. A trailer is supposed to not give you away too much information, just give you like the basic plot of what it's going to be and get you excited for it. Trailers don't do that anymore. Teasers are great because that's exactly what teasers. But usually a teaser now is like 2 to 3 minutes long, or 1 to 2 minutes long, and then a trailer is 2 to 3 minutes long. When it should be, a teaser is like a minute or less, and then the trailer is like a minute to 2 minutes. But that's just my opinion. I mean, I have seen a few trailers that are like good. Yes, posters. A lot of times, posters will get me more excited about a TV show or movie more so than the teaser trailer or the trailer itself. It just depends on the graphic artist, of how good they are and everything. What was I saying before? I don't remember. It's fine. So, I don't know if you all like Doctor Who. I love Doctor Who. It's probably my favorite TV show. It just, well, what is it? Just, yeah, Tom Holland just spoiled everything. But Doctor Who is getting some new exciting stuff. Lots of P. Davies is back. That's old news, but still, he's back, and it's great. And David Tennant's back, which is a little weird, but I'm excited for it. I am kind of glad that the Chibnall and Jodie Whittaker run is over, because it wasn't great. Jodie Whittaker was good, but the writing for her Doctor felt more like a rehash of what everyone liked from Matt Smith and David Tennant, more than her being her own character. I mean, she acted well. Like, her performance was good. I believed she was the Doctor, but the writing was great. And, which was really disappointing to me, because Chibnall wrote one of my favorite TV shows ever, Broadchurch. It was so good. The characters were written really well. The plot was written really well. Just the story in general was written really well. And they did nothing. That's not what, no. That's not what, Chibnall, so I was really excited for Chibnall's Doctor Who run, because I figured it was going to be the same level of, like, writing, but it wasn't. I don't know what happened. Maybe he's just not as good at writing sci-fi as he is at mystery. Which all he had to do was do another mystery, but just put it under the guise of Doctor Who. But it just wasn't. I was really expecting really great things from him because of how good Broadchurch was, and then it wasn't good. The first 2 seasons with him and Jodie Whittaker weren't terrible. They weren't great, but they weren't terrible. But the Flux season was bad. That is bad. Okay, so my least favorite season is Capaldi's first season, because the writing, again, was bad, but that's from Stephen Moffat. It wasn't great. I did not like that season at all. It almost made me quit watching Doctor Who. Not gonna lie. I almost quit. That's how bad it was. Flux was almost just as bad, if not as bad. Maybe even worse. It's not good. But the specials that came out after Flux weren't bad. There was a few that were better than others, but they weren't bad. I think that Chibnall just doesn't know. Just tried with Flux, it was trying to be like one massive story, and it just wasn't working for me. I'm not saying that it can't be done. I think it could have been done. It's just he was putting like the stakes like way up here. And when you put the stakes way up here, it's real. You can write yourself into a corner really easily, and he kind of did because the way they defeated him, I don't even remember how they defeated the bad guy. He was essentially a god. He could just like snap and kill you. And yeah, it was. Ant-Man, Quantumania, I don't know. I am excited to see Kang again because that actor blew me away in Loki. So I'm excited to see him, but the Ant-Man movies, the first Ant-Man movie is pretty good, but Ant-Man 2 was garbage. I hate that movie. And then Loki Season 2, I am excited for because I really enjoyed Loki Season 1. And Guardians 3, I am also excited for. Haven't watched the trailer. Good spoilers. But I'm excited for that one too because I love the Guardians movies. And from what I hear, the Guardians will not be the same after this movie. So that's kind of exciting. Also, Adam Warlock's going to be in it, so that's cool. What was I saying about Doctor Who? The villain of the Flux season he was just essentially a god, and nobody could stop him because he could just kill you with a snap of his fingers. That's way up the stakes so high. And I think just the I don't know what I was saying anymore. My brain just the Christmas movie sequel, the second one that just came out not too long ago. Because I did not watch that one. Mainly, part of it is because I haven't watched the original Christmas movie in a very long time. Oh, are you talking about the Guardians Christmas special? No, I haven't watched the Guardians Christmas special. I've been stuck on Criminal Minds. Yeah, no, I haven't watched it yet. I am behind on my Marvel. But yeah, anyway, new Doctor Who is going to be fun because David Tennant's back as Doctor, which is weird but cool. And it is kind of explained because in the 50th anniversary, he meets an older version of himself, and he says and it's Tom Baker who played the fourth Doctor, and he says you'll even revisit a few familiar faces every now. So like it makes sense. Like it's not like if that hadn't been said, it would be a little weird, but obviously I don't think they had enough foresight to have a previous doctor come back to play a doctor again. But yeah, it will be interesting. And I'm excited because David Tennant is amazing. And then we got Chuti Gatwa coming in as the Doctor, and I have not seen him in anything. So I went and looked up some clips of him in Sex Education. It's like the biggest thing he's done. And he seems like he looks like he is a good actor. He seems like he would be a good fit for the Doctor. But that is to be seen. You shall have to wait and see. I am excited for it though, because I love Doctor Who, and I'm just excited about when new Doctors come in. It's always exciting. It's always a little bit scary too, because you don't know what's gonna happen, how well they're gonna do. You know. Anyway, this keeps saying like that I have like 3 people watching, but when I click on participants over here, I only have 1. So I don't understand. Whatever. But yeah, I think that's it for me. Again, it's just really hard to discuss things when I don't have anyone to discuss them with. So yeah, I'm gonna try and do this again next Friday, if possible, if work permits me to, if life permits me to. I will try to continue to do this weekly, or as consistent as I can. So yeah, if you enjoyed this video, go ahead and leave a subscribe, a like, and try and come back later. We have fun on this channel because we talk about things. Bye. Thank you for joining me, Potato King 46, and the Metal Gladiator for popping in, and whoever else popped in, because I can't see who all popped in, but it's fine. Hopefully I will get the streaming thing down, and next time will be a little bit more structured and clean, whatever. But yeah, it was fun. Have a good night. If I can figure out how to turn this